Hey guys, so I wanted to take you through this so that if you're interested, you have the ability to have this. Okay, so you know your STAAR questions, a lot of them have boxes, so I really want to give you just some tools to be able to figure out what you're looking at, okay? All right, so on your STAAR test, remember, write everything, underline, highlight, bring highlighters with you, okay? There should be some in the tub, but if not, bring a highlighter with you. All right, so this first one says, okay, this is the English Bill of Rights, so that's when we were British. So 1689. All right, so it says, excessive bail hath been required. Okay, so excessive bail, we talked about that. For persons committed in criminal cases to elude the benefit of the laws made for the liberty of the subjects. Excessive fines have been imposed. Illegal and cruel punishments inflicted. Okay, so all of this is talking about what we call cruel and unusual punishments. So that's what this is all about, okay? All right, so this next one, it is a proclamation from President Andrew Jackson, and it says, I consider then the power to annul, meaning cancel. Annul and nullify are the same thing, okay? So I consider then the power to annul a law of the United States assumed by one state incompatible with the existence of the Union, contradicted expressly by the letter of the Constitution. Okay, guys, if it's annul and nullify, this is about the nullification crisis. Okay, that's totally what this is about. All right, the next one, the president, so that's one branch, shall have the power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, that's two branches, to make treaties provided 2/3 of the senators present concur. Remember, if it is only one branch in the entire statement, it's separation of powers. But if there are two branches, it is checks and balances. Okay? All right, next one. The states have their status in the Union, and they have no other legal status. The Union, and not themselves separately, procured their independence and their liberty. So this is President Abraham Lincoln, 1861. So this is when the Civil War started, okay? If he is talking about the states versus the Union, this is probably his first inaugural address, and he's saying secession is illegal, okay? All right, next one. Here in the autumn of 1777, American forces met defeated and forced a major British army to surrender. This crucial American victory, so in 77, In the Battle of blank, renewed patriots' hopes for independence secured essential foreign recognition and support, and forever changed the face of the world. Okay, so if it's in 77, it's in the middle of the war. Secured essential foreign recognition and support. That's talking about France. And remember, after the battles of Saratoga, that's when Ben Franklin was able to convince France to help us. Okay, so that's how you would figure out what that one's looking at. The next one, this is from Abigail Adams, a letter to her husband John Adams, 1781. Okay, so the American Revolution was 1776 to 1781. Okay, so America may boast that she has accomplished what no power before her ever did, contending with Britain, captured 2 of their celebrated generals, and each an army of thousands of veteran troops to support them. This was the Battle of Yorktown. And that's just a detail. We've always hated that quote, but that's the one that they've used. All right, from the Declaration of Independence, 1776, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. This document is going to ask what those rights are, and it is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay? All right, for this one, this is 1860, so before the Civil War. Oh, sorry, move it up. It is but 15 years since the first line was constructed in this country, and at the present time there are not less than 50,000 miles. So we're talking about, hang on, first line, okay? At present time, there are no less than 50,000 miles in successful operation on this continent, having over 1,400 stations and employing upwards to 10,000 operators and clerks. The number of messages passing over all the lines in this country annually is estimated up towards 5 million, producing a revenue of 2 million. Guys, if we're talking about lines and stations and messages, it's the telegraph. Okay? But remember, you're not going to know that if you just glance at it. You have to actually read it. All right, the next one, 10th Amendment. Guys, anytime you see 10th Amendment, it is either asking federalism or states' rights every time. Okay? All right. It is essential. Am I on there? Yep. It is essential. Okay, so let's look at, we are looking at 1773, so before the American Revolution. It is essential to the freedom and security of a free people that no taxes be imposed upon them but by their own consent or their own representatives. This is taxation without representation. Okay? All right. This question upset a lot of my children when it was used on the STAAR test, and here's the reason. My students looked at the date and said, well, that wasn't during our time period, and they're right. What they did is, this is from an interview way at the end of her life, but it's still about her. I was the conductor of the Underground Railroad for 8 years. And I can say what most conductors can't say: I never ran my train off the track and I never lost a passenger. This is Harriet Tubman. Okay. All right, the next one. So this is from Charles C. Burley, addressed to the whole world's Temperance Convention. Temperance is no alcohol. And it says, we have only to look about us in this great city to observe the traces of the deadly influence of intemperance. Everywhere we face crime, disease, and death, all testify to the necessity of the prosecution of the cause of steadfast and unwavering effort to prompt action to lead to complete success. You might not know what all of that means, but if you see temperance, it means no alcohol. Okay? All right, next one. We are looking at Abraham Lincoln, his second inaugural address, 1865. So this is the end of the Civil War. All knew that this interest was somehow the cause of the war. To strengthen, perpetuate, and extend this interest was the object for which the insurgents would rend the Union even by war, while the government claimed no right to do more than to restrict the territorial enlargement of it. Okay. This is all about slavery. Okay. And this is the question that it asks, what is this interest? This interest is slavery. All right, next one. All right, you have 1796, President George Washington's farewell address. Okay, so before you even look at this, there are two things that Washington's farewell address said. He said, one, no political parties. And two, he said, no foreign alliances. Okay, so let's see which one it is up here. 'Tis our true policy to steer clear of what? With any portion of the foreign world. So the answer is going to be something about no foreign alliances. Okay. Okay, the next one, this is the Virginia statute, meaning a rule for religious freedom. It says, be it enacted by the General Assembly that no man shall be compelled to frequent or support any religious worship, place, or ministry whatsoever, nor shall otherwise suffer on account of his religious opinions or belief, but that all men shall be free to propose and by argument to maintain their opinion in matters of religion. First Amendment. Okay. All right. Then we have from the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. So legislature makes the law. There is only one branch listed here. and it is separation of powers. Okay, so hopefully this helped taking you through just looking at the text boxes. Don't get overwhelmed by them, okay? Write out, use your pencil, pen, whatever you're using, write out everything that you know about that topic, circle the dates, look at the key words that are in the document. You will be fine.